Hello? Hi. Hello? Amazing, superb. Now, let's welcome with a huge round of applause the showstopper, people you all were waiting for, Yoda.
Hi Yoda, welcome back.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you all are watching.
Yes, Yoda. Could you tell us something about the upcoming session?
Everyone.
Seems like everybody had so much of tea that Yoda didn't get its snacks and it is feeling really sad. We are really sorry for this. It's okay Yoda, happens.
Okay.
I am sure you all will enjoy the session. Thank you. I will see you soon.
Thank you Yoda.
Hello? A good event never ends in the world. They take only a pause and keep us awaiting for the next.
Welcome back everybody. Guess who I found in the break? Another Aditya, who is here also to be an MC. Glad to have met you Aditya.
This is the event where Aditya meets Aditya. Okay, before we proceed further, I want you all to have a very, very big smile on your face and give a huge round of applause for making this event a grand success by your presence. And once again, welcome you all to the CA Students National Conference 2022.
Kshitija!
Beyond the Horizon.
Now, we are up to one of the most exciting sessions that are coming up. So, are you ready?
Yes or yes?
So, Aditya, what comes to your mind when I say the word business?
Business. I think in today's world, where India is home to 107 unicorns, my first thought would be about the world of startups.
Absolutely, Aditya. Startups have a different ecosystem of their own. There are many intricacies involved in their operations, and active steps are directed towards their reduction, isn't it?
True. Many jargons used in these operations which might be pretty confusing.
There are also many inspiring stories which provide an illuminated pathway to the budding entrepreneurs.
I am very curious and excited. Well, all the points we just referred to are going to be the key points of discussion for the first technical session of the day, the startup world.
We now request Ms. Bhavna to escort CA Viswanath Rao and the paper presenters onto the dais.
We also request the Vice Chairman, Nagraj, to please be seated. Hello? Yes.
We now request Bhavna to welcome our guests with Book A. I guess everybody remembers what Book A stands for. Do you remember? Thank you.
are the rules for this conference? I'll ask you. Then you tell.
So, Aditya, before we begin this session, would you like to explain to our audience what the rules for this session will be?
Yes, surely, Aditya. Rules for the paper presentation. The time allotted for the paper presenters is 15 minutes. Strict adherence to the timing will be appreciated. May we now request CA Viswanath Rao, the chairman of this session, to address the gathering and set the context for the session. CA Viswanath Rao.
Good morning, everyone. I thought we just came back from the tea break. Good morning. Yeah, good. Oh. So I think today we have an apt topic sitting here at the startup capital of India, Bangalore. Exciting times to discuss about startups, right? I have one of your, three of your own batchmates who will be presenting and talking more about startups, but I'll give you a brief introductions or talk about what these startups are. Is there anyone who really don't know about startups? I don't think, right? We have either heard about startups, we have either been part of startups in your articleship, you have worked for a few entrepreneurs in your work, at your work, you have seen the energy they bring to the table. So the startups have touched us in some form or the other. But let's put a framework and try and understand why these startups are important, what are the few jargons used in these startups, how you can play a role or be part of these startups or start on your own as well, right? Startup. You need to think outside the box. Most of the times, the outside the box need not be always driven by technology, driven by new innovation. It could be a process you may think differently. That can also be a startup, right? So, quickly, there was an study of gravity which changed the science. There was an idea which changed the way the business is run. There were a couple of brothers who dreamt, what if they didn't start? Or what if they never thought anything about it? What if they didn't begin? What if they never started? But they did, right? And today we see there's tremendous, and the pace of improvement in the way we live has significantly improved over years, over decades, over centuries, because there were startups who started, there was someone who thought something new, who brought it to life, and who executed it. Without that, just imagine where we would have been, what our lifestyles would have been, right? So now let's quickly touch upon what is an equation of a startup. If you see below, it is generally a new business where an innovation comes into play. I told you innovation doesn't have to be something totally new, groundbreaking, totally rocket science. It doesn't mean that. Even a change in the process, the way you think, the way you do it, the way you execute an existing process, that also can be an innovation, which is powered by technology. Now again, technology is always confused with something digital, something has to do with software. Nothing, it need not be. You would have seen there are new startups using technologies, which could be an old technology, but use it in a different way. But there is a technology play in it. That's because a startup has to have a scale. To get to scale, technology is what enables it. All of this has to come along with the passion of an individual, the passion of the entrepreneur who can bind all this together to deliver a great startup. A startup will go through its life cycle, we'll touch upon that, but this is what brings in, and the culture, you would have heard about a culture of startup. It has to be little different than an organized industry player, a large company, because a startups call for a culture of innovation, passion, energy. So when you have that startup culture coming together, that's when you see, that's when a successful startup can be made. So these are basics, these are the framework which needs to come together to get started for a startup. Quickly touching upon what are the categorization of startups. Again, when there is a startup, we should not always think that it's for profit, it's for always done for profit. Yes, a success of a startup will always be what it can add to the society, as well as is it really making some money, some to survive itself, also to give back some form of money back to the founders and the community which is helping that startup. It cannot be it cannot be always a loss making, but you can broadly categorize into for profit. And now very recently you would have been hearing more of these non-profit social entrepreneurs who are playing a very important role to address very important and socially important topics, be it environment, be it conserving natural resources. So there are players who are really playing an important role through startups. The regular business wouldn't have that concentration to address these issues. So what you see on this side are the social entrepreneurs, not for profit. On the right side, you see for profit and your regular business houses which work to get and deliver to the economy. We briefly touched upon the life cycle of a startup. A startup initiates and an idea is generated, someone will start working on those ideas. They talk to their friends, family, pull in some money, which is generally called the seed round. They pull in some money, they start working on a nimble garage. They find a place, they work together. They then create something called a minimum viable product. It could be a service, it could be a product. Then they go ahead, they start hiring people, a group of people come together. Now this is where the culture has to come together. If someone is thinking, like in this category, if someone is working for a profit, you can't always be a social cause. You cannot be working on something. So you need to have your vision and vision right. Only when all of this come together, there are various stages of funding. So when you are small, you need a little economic resources, but as you start growing bigger, you need to raise some funds. There are various stakeholders, there are various ways of raising capital for a startup, and finally it reaches a stage where an IPO is done wherein a public money is pulled in to execute that business. All of you, most of you would have played in the stock markets. You would also have understood how this plays out. Very recently, there were large startups which went public into IPO. I don't want to get into the details of it, but that's the natural growth or the life cycle of these startups. And as chartered accountants, as finance professionals, we all play a great role in this life cycle of a startup. So it's always good to understand where, what, and how sensitive we need to be, how you advise the entrepreneurs, or you yourself be an entrepreneur one day, and how you look at all of this in a framework and go out there and execute it. Now, we talk so much about startups, right? Why startup in India? What does these do? I'm sure in economics you would have already studied, but I just wanted to reiterate the importance of this because we are all in the exciting times. We would have heard, even the first introduction panel, we're talking this exciting times to be here, to do this. Indian CA fraternity, Indian CA students, it's the right time to be here, right? You would have heard about the Michael Porter's economic stages of economic development, right? So where do you think India is at this stage? So before that, I'll quickly take you through the states. The factor stage is when there is the leverages on the abundance of resources. The competitive advantage is basically on the labor and natural resources. So you have a huge availability of resources, so you can leverage by the volumes you have, you can provide goods and services at a low cost. And then you move on to the second stage. Generally, this is globally, like these are how the large countries are measured, at what economic development stage is this country. Is this, like say India, at what stage it is, that's how it's measured, right? The second phase could be an investment-driven stage where efficiencies are, again, it's more in volume. The goods and services are provided in huge volume. There are efficiencies of scale, which plays in. So there are, the investors are interested to invest because they get to know that there's a lot of profits they can earn. The economy will be growing faster because most of the population are either engaged in one or the other economic activity. The third phase is the innovation-driven stage. This is where innovative products and services are brought to the market. So in this economy, majority of the population or the employable population are engaged in innovation, innovating products, innovating services, and also, again, it will be global in scale. So the country will be producing for globe, not your regional concentration. There will be advanced skills. There is a lot of demand for advanced skills. So I think India entered this phase maybe a decade earlier, 5 to 6 years, 10 years back, and we are progressing very well, very faster to get into a very dominant phase of economic development. Now, when these startups come together, when there is the flow of capital, when all of this starts playing as a good ecosystem, that's how the economy grows. So that's why it's important to have startups. That's why it's important to work towards innovation. And that's the importance of startups, right? Now, this is what it is. It's none other than Barack Obama said, India is just not emerging, it has emerged, right? Do you all agree with this? What does the silence mean? You agree with this? Good. So now let me have the other presenters take up and give their views on certain selected topics they'll be speaking about. Gunjan?
Thank you, sir, for setting the context right. You don't need to be a doctor to be a hero. I repeat, you don't need to be a doctor to be a hero. You just need to donate blood. Yes, friends, you heard me right. There is a small blood donation camp right next to the auditorium going on. Anyone interested, please do the needful. Give me this. Okay. Hello? Yes. Right now we heard the session chairman, CA Viswanath Rao sir. But do we know about him? Yes. So let us know more about him by the profile being played.
We have to proceed. Really sorry for the technical. We're sorry for the.
We have with us Gunjan the first paper presenter of the day. But before she begins, let us know a bit more about her.
Gunjan Chaje. She is from Bangalore, a creative and enthusiastic person who believes in making an impact with touch of her authenticity. She is really passionate about the finance world, especially the capital markets. So with a huge round of applause, let us welcome Gunjan Chaje.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Am I audible? No. Am I audible? Hello? Yeah. Thank you so much for the beautiful words, MC. Can we have a huge round of applause for the MC, please? Wow, I'm having a clear view of all the people I'm waiting to interact with. The energy in the room is awesome. So after having a short tea break, listening to a story sounds amazing, right? If you all are aware of Thirsty Crow story, which I know you all are, please clap. Okay. So as the crow finds a pot, he fills the pebbles so that the level of water rises and he drinks water happily. But why am I bringing Thirsty Crow story in this technical session? Because it is very much related to my topic and theme of this conference. How? We all look at things like everyone else, but it is people like Mr. Crow who think innovatively, look beyond the horizon and come up with creative solutions, which is also the theme of today's conference, Kshitija, Beyond the Horizon. It also resonates with my topic, the topic you all are looking forward to, the topic of modern time, the topic which has made its space in every house of India, the topic which has become a dinner table topic, conversation starter, which aspires Gen Z millennials while leaving the boomers curious. Yes, it is the startup world. While I'll be majorly focusing on the recognition and benefits available to the startups. Start your way and the ladder shall take you up. Ever heard of this quote? Start your way and the ladder shall take you up. By Gunjan. In case you're wondering who is Gunjan, it's me. My warm greetings to all the jury members, dignitaries, MC and fellow CA aspirants. I'm here to take you along with me to this beautiful journey of the startup world, which I promise is full of interaction, information and also entertainment. I know you all are aware of the word startups, but yet let me shoot it to you. What do you mean by startup? Anyone raise your hand and answer. Anyone, what do you mean by startup? Come on, guys. He said when a person tries to solve a problem and create money out of it. Okay, anyone else? What do you mean by startup? Come on, CA aspirants. Anyone? Shout. Bringing an idea into reality. Right. One more person, last. Anyone, what do you mean by startup? Okay. Company recognized by DPI. Okay, one more. Right. I also asked, what do you mean by startup to few other people? And this is what I got the answer. Gunjan, start taking action and quit talking. Whoa. Start helping others. All right. Start trusting yourself, trusting your ideas. Whoa. Start making an impact. It felt like my mom is preaching, to be honest. So how do we know? How do we recognize any company as a startup? Ever wondered for how long can a company call itself a startup? And did you notice, why is it always few friends or a bunch of people who come together to incorporate startup? Sole proprietorship, is it allowed or not? Let me share it with you. In order to recognize any company as a startup, there are 5 key elements to keep in mind. First is the age of the company. For the initial 10 years from incorporation, the second is type of company. It has to be either an LLP, private limited, or partnership. Sole proprietorship, not allowed. Then annual turnover, it should not exceed 100 crore in any of the financial year. It must aim in the innovation, scalability, and development. The most important thing it has to be original. That is, it must not be formed from demergering or restructuring. So, are these guidelines issued by me? No. DPIIT, that is Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Now, if I tell you there are various types as well in startups, you'll be like, what? But yes, there are 6 types of startups. Small business startups are usually in the initial stage, self-funded and looking at the founder's needs. Example, Wow Momo. Yeah, I heard wow. Second is viable startup. Viable startups are the ones which has started from the scratch but later sold to a bigger giant company. A very famous example which you all know, Flipkart being acquired by Walmart. Few people also convert their hobbies and passion into the business, and those are known as lifestyle startups. Example, Scoopwhoop. Social startups are the ones incorporated to promote social cause. For example, Goodfellows. So it's a company recently incorporated by Shantanu Naidu, helping elderly people. Large company startups are usually tech companies which have varied global opportunities. For example, Infosys. Scalable startups are the ones which has made tremendous growth in very few years from incorporation. Example, Zerodha. So, do you also feel that all of a sudden everyone is like startup, 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 startup? Why so? Back in 2015, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi came up with Startup India Initiative campaign, which intended to catalyze the startup culture and made India the innovation leader across the global. The Startup India Initiative campaign intended to develop 75 startup hubs in the country. In the year 2021 itself, 50,000 startups have been recognized and 1.7 lakh job opportunities has been created. Further, in the year 2016, January 16 was declared and celebrated as National Startup Day. Now, it's only thing that it has been recognized and promoted much in the recent time. Let me share with you a few of the methods by which government is recognizing and promoting. I have a quick activity for you now. I'll be showing you a few of the products with the logo. I want you all to shout the name of the product, right? Boat, that's right. Fruity, correct. Patanjali, that's right. Mama Earth, right. And very easy one for the last. Parle-G, right. So all these are Indian products, which brings me to Made in India scheme. It is Made in India aims at the development and manufacturing assemblance of the Indian products. Seed Fund scheme aims to provide financial assistance to the startups for commercialization and market entry. Atal Innovation Mission, as the name suggests, innovation. It promotes the startups with good ideas for the development of the country. Now, can you all see this? It's a handmade bag from Rajasthan, which brings me to Stand Up India scheme, which promotes women entrepreneurs, SC and ST. Not just the government, but also various other institutions support startup, like universities through campus placements and fests. Banks provide various offers at minimal fee and lower rates. Angel investors like Anupam Mittal, Kunal Shah, Ritesh Agarwal are promoting. Crowdfunding, it's a new concept where it is much practiced outside India, where a bunch of people come together for investing in the company. Then there is various others like communities, venture capital funds. So let me share some benefits of startup scheme with you. Self-certification, that the procedures have been made easier and you can do it by yourself through a mobile app. Tax exemption is being given for 3 years. Patent procedures, registration have been reduced and made it much easier. Incubator has been supported. That is, the people who connect angel investors and startups are being promoted. There are various other benefits, like research and innovation benefit. Various research camps has been set up. Easy exit, that is within 90 days you can shut the company. Networking opportunities have been created, like organizing fests and easy access to funds. Let me conclude. So now the startup is having various opportunity and is being supported by government and the people of nation. Startups act as a bridge between the developing nations and the developed nations. Startup act as a bridge between developing nations and developed nations. So if you are thinking of having your own startup, if you have any idea, then let me share it with you. You have an entire startup world buffet with you. Stop thinking, start taking action. Start trusting yourself, start trusting your ideas, and you never know, you start your way and the ladder will take you up. I'll conclude with this beautiful quote of Sir APJ Abdul Kalam, that creativity is seen the same thing as everyone else, but coming up with out-of-the-box solutions. Thank you. This is Gunjan Shaji. and wonderful crowd. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Gunjan, for making us inspired to start up our own venture by letting us know about the various benefits available.
We have Nidhi Kakat here as second paper presenter of the day. So before she begins her presentation, let us know a bit about her.
I'm becoming tall enough. Nidhi Kakat. A Christ University alumni, hails from Kochi, Kerala. She is an avid stock market analyzer and would love to pursue her career on that. So put your hands together for Nidhi Kakat.
Mic check, mic check. It's fine. It's all down. Hello. Now, all good? Please excuse me for a second while I figure out how to do this. Yes, I guess we begin now. Greetings everyone, I'm Nidhi Kakat and I'll be presenting on the topic Terms of Startup World. I don't know how many of us are familiar with this. There's a phenomenal poem by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood and I took the one less traveled and that has made all the difference. And that has made all the difference. Today, I'm going to take you all through a road less traveled. Give me a second. Yeah, there you go. From the time startups have emerged, there has been a lot of jargon or so-called terms that have been sprouting up. So someone fairly new, like you and me, it becomes extremely difficult to have terms thrown on us and get an idea of it. So what I thought is we'll divide it into certain categories and take it forward from there. Starting with our first category, business. We have 4 terms to tackle in here, starting with the first term, unicorn. It's raining unicorns in India right now. You all will be under a rock if you don't know what a unicorn is. If you're actually under a rock, let me help you with the term. A unicorn is a privately owned startup which has reached a valuation of $1 billion. The term was coined by Amy in the year 2013. She did this to show how rare it is for a startup to acquire this valuation. But I really question the intent right now. It's rare. We have Byju's, Nykaa, Paytm, and then 40 more startups joining the Unicorn Club in the year 2021. Remarkable, isn't it? While we get that, let's move on to the next one. and Nidhi has proved that it's not important for an organization to essentially have capital come in from outside. We can do it on our own as well. And that's the concept of bootstrapping for you all. Moving forward, we have the concept of iteration and pivot. These two terms are not just important for the journey of startups, but these two terms are important for the journey called life. What happens when you wanted to do something, but it didn't happen the way you wanted to? You'll change a little bit and try it another way. That's exactly what iteration means. You'll try refining an idea concept and take it forward from there. Now, let's understand the concept of pivot. Think about it this way. I wanted to take commerce, but when my parents told me, let's go to science, I was really confused. I was about to take science, but then I realized, wait, commerce is a good option for me, and I went there. This happens with startups as well. Initially, they feel like, oh, this is a good idea and go forward, but then later on they realize taking another path. But one thing in common is that we can iterate, we can pivot, but we never pause, be it startups or life. Let's take it forward, scalability. For scalability, I can just stop in one line. 8,50,000 square feet of Apple headquarters started with a small garage at Steve Jobs' parents' home. Just like this, starting from here to here is where the magic of scalability lies in. With that, one down, and then we have 3 more to go. Going to the next category, which is marketing. One thing I remember about marketing, one sentence that you see in a lot of movies is sell me the pen. But I believe when it comes to startup, it's not just about selling pens. We have much more to go. Let's see. Starting with growth hacking. No. By hacking, I'm not going to teach you anything illegal or unethical. We're going the right way. By growth hacking, what I mean is we're going to find a way in which emerging startups can have good returns and grow faster with limited cost and limited time. As enticing it might sound, it will take a lot of time and a lot of effort and cost. Moving forward, we have the second concept, search engine optimization. Should I teach you this or will you teach me this? Because I'm pretty sure all of you already know what search engine optimization is. Yet, I chose this topic because I believe I want to highlight the importance of how a startup has to gauge the importance of search engine optimization. Let's move forward. Give me a second, please. Yeah. Sorry for that. Startups also have hiccups like this, but we need to move forward anyways. So that's fine. But let's see. Yeah, we're getting back. CA. I want an honest opinion from this audience. How many of you are not familiar with the word cusp? I need a raise of hands. You can be honest, and there's no further question. Oh, my audience is really honest at this point, I believe. I would have raised my hand if this question was asked to me a week ago, or probably 2 weeks ago, before I was preparing for this. Then I came across this beautiful concept of cusp. As difficult as it might sound, it's a very easy concept. This curve actually represents the different customers that you acquire over the period of time. So for a startup, which is starting up, there are a lot of customers that will eventually join in. But there are some customers who are early adopters. The space between early adopters and early majority is where it has to happen. Moving second one is well. We have two more to go. Third one is my favorite, finance. And I'm pretty sure all of us know all the concepts. So I'm not going to go very deep into it, but just understand. Let's have a trivia question, okay? There'll be two answers. Let's see who's going with which answer. I am a single person who has high net worth and I invest in early startups. Who am I? Am I an angel investor or a venture capitalist? Wow, we have really built it proud. I thought I'd have to take some time, but okay. Yes, that's true. We all know the concept again. It's an angel investor. When it comes to venture capitalists, then they are represented by a firm or a company. So we quickly move from that concept. Just give me a second while to fill this out. Yeah, there you have it. And then we have seed round. You all must have seen a seed sprouting, right? Needs development. Fertilizer, water, and all of that. Just like the startup sprouting or beginning. So a seed round is essentially the beginning where funding is startup. Then we have the burn. It hurts you when it burns. But what about the startup? A company that has a lot of overhead expenses. We get money, but we need to spend it. What if we are spending it so quickly that we're not able to earn returns? That's when we call it the burn. Moving forward, we have one more concept to cover: pre-money and post-money. Very simple. Pre-money is when what's your valuation before getting the funding, and post-money is when what's your valuation after getting the funding. We've done the three. Wow, I need a round of applause for that. Last one, analysis. As intense it sounds, very simple concept. SaaS, software as a service, and then we have user interface. Software as a service, we all should be knowing again. It's where you get a subscription-based software model. We have examples right there of industry. And user interface. We say you should never judge by its cover, but we are living in an era where all the customers judge the startup on the basis of the user interface. So we need to make sure that we do it right so that we can get the right customers. After this, let's understand the concept of accelerator. Oh wait, I'll take you through the concept of jockey stick. But let's leave all that and dive into understanding the concept of solvent. Just like this, I could go on and on and on explaining all the ever-ending concepts in startup world. But I won't do that. I won't do that. My intention was not to take you all through various unique cases of startup. My intention was to give you a ticket. A ticket to the startup world. Now, this world is all yours to explore, to reinvent, and to fall in love with it. Until next time, Dhanyawada Maguru.
Fabulous. Thank you, Nidhi, for helping us decode the jargons and making our lives much simpler.
Simran KN, the third paper presenter. Simran KN, who is born and brought up in Bangalore, completed her graduation in Mount Carmel College. She is a CA intermediate student and a second-year article assistant. She aspires to explore the finance world. She also has the enthusiasm to learn something new every day. So friends, please give a huge round of applause for Simran.
Hello. Hello. Oops. Hi everyone. How are you all doing today? Okay. Yeah. So, I'd like to begin with a quote, which is,
I know I might not regret if I failed. The one thing I might regret is not trying. So this famous quote was said by Jeff Bezos, Amazon founder and CEO. Yeah. So although when we talk about success, we are always thinking about, how hardships would be and everything. So all of us at some point in our lives would want to be successful or are working towards being successful. So each one of us has dreamt about being successful, being a CEO, an entrepreneur, a CFO of your dream company. Fascinating, right? Like on top of the world. In this picture, you can see a couple of people smiling. I'm sure these smiles are after a couple of challenges thrown at them and still achieving what they want. So, when we talk about this, you can see the iceberg. All of us see here is success, but the person who truly stood there understands how he reached there and what it took to reach there. So let me zoom out a little bit and explain you what it actually looks like. So, success is about persistence, failure, sacrifices, disappointments, dedication, hard work, and good habits, right? So, when we talk about this, we also know that, there are good days and bad days. There are wins and failures to achieve all this. I take immense pleasure to talk about some of the very successful startups of all time who have not only inspired us and the generations which are yet to come. The first startup which I would like to talk about is OYO. So who over here knows the full form of OYO? That's right, on your own. This was founded by Ritesh Agarwal. Let me tell you, this journey has made him from a college dropout to the youngest self-made billionaire. So, Ritesh Agarwal started this journey in the year 2012. It initially started as overall stays. It started with one city and one room. And today, it has more than 140,000 rooms in more than 800 cities and in more than 80 countries. Amazing, right? Let me tell you how this idea came to his mind. So, like any of us teenage kids who loves traveling, he always had a problem of finding low-budgeted homes. Right? So when he founded some of the low-budgeted homes, he started listing them on the websites. So this is what initially he had in his mind. At the age of 16, he participated in a 240 student program at Tata Institute of Fundamental Research for Asian Science Camp, where he started to venture out and meeting entrepreneurs, and this boosted his confidence. Let me tell you how much he would have initially started his funding. So let me tell you, he started with $1 lakh, which was given to him without any stake. Just a minute. Left. Okay, so he received rupees $1 lakh from a US-based program. Also, he was the first person to get into this camp, an Asian who got into this camp. So, this program goes by Thiel Fellowship. For those of you who don't know Thiel Fellowship, it's a program by Peter Thiel, PayPal founder, who annually selects around 20 to 25 students and provides them with $1 lakh with guidance and encourages them to quit their schools and pursue the work. It might be a social movement, it might be for a startup or any other reason to achieve your dream. So, what about OYO was so successful? OYO being a global marketplace and also rising was the spirit of innovation. It kept giving customers what we want. As we Indians, we are always looking for quality, yet affordable stays. So, he started with low budgeted rooms and customer preferences. What made this journey truly successful was when he started Thiel Fellowship Program, where he started to meet a lot of people, and this made him realize his true potential. Okay, before this, I would like to tell that if you want your business to work, you must give what the people are looking for, what your consumers are looking for. Any business which is useful to a consumer and makes it a little less affordable is a great product. Let me start by telling you another story, which is Zerodha. Zerodha is by far one of the most efficient in the Indian startup systems, right? So, when we talk about Zerodha, Zerodha is a startup where from zero valuation came up to a 1 billion valuation, and without any sponsorship or marketing. How could Zerodha achieve something so incredible? Most of the tech companies are just suffering losses and pour in millions of dollars to survive in the market. And Zerodha could achieve something so incredible. Let me tell you how this journey was. Sorry. Well, you'll have to wait a little bit more. Yeah. Before I come to how successful Zerodha was, let me go over and say something about Kunal Shah's theory, which he gave, which is also somewhat similar to Zerodha and what it tried to achieve. So, to overcome the inefficiency and hurdles, he believes that a startup can gain 3 supermassive powers, right? The first one being high consumer tolerance. You give the customers something what they have never seen before. A unique brand proposition, which will include result in word of mouth, an irreversible shift. You can never go back. You have to need. It's a necessity now. So, before jumping back to Zerodha, let me explain you these 3 points into a real life aspect. A very simple example, WhatsApp. So, WhatsApp started with 3 superpowers. Let me tell you that. High consumer tolerance. So before, when we all started, when WhatsApp came back, before WhatsApp, before WhatsApp, we all used to struggle even for texting, right? We used to normal calls, international calls. We used to always think about how we run low out of balance. But since WhatsApp came into the picture, now we just don't even think about texting. It has made all of our lives easier. That is why high consumer tolerance. WhatsApp gave us something that we never saw before. Unique brand proposition. So WhatsApp gave us something so unique that, and it resulted in word of mouth. We all were telling everyone that, WhatsApp is great and we should be on WhatsApp. Irreversible shift. We cannot imagine going back to our texting days, which would run out of balance. Similarly, Nikhil Kamath had figured 3 major hurdles for the investors, which are lack of knowledge and awareness. As all Indians, some major of them used to do decisions on emotional and myths and not on strategy. High brokerage fees. So most of the brokerage companies took a percentage of the investors' investing amount, which would be thousands and in lakhs. Long and tedious procedure. It was a very long and a tedious procedure, and any common man would find it very difficult to go ahead for it. That is why Zerodha came up with 3 unique solutions to tackle the lack of knowledge awareness. It came up with Zerodha Varsity. Zerodha Varsity is a website where anyone can go and learn about stock market. And with financial lessons, now anyone can make a strategic investment based on the knowledge they have. Discount the brokerage fees. Like I mentioned earlier, there were a lot of people who were giving a lot of money just for brokerage. Now, Zerodha has come up with a revolutionary solution, which is 20 rupees or 0.03% for all intraday trades and free of cost for direct mutual funds and equity. The third one being an easy procedure to tackle, to help all of us to invest more. It came up with a simple user interface, like all of us would know, kite, console, coin. Because of this, any person can invest in it and with 100% of transparency. Today, Zerodha has more than 4 million investors using Zerodha as their platform to make an investment. It is valued around 2 billion, and let me tell you, the current profit is 1,800 crores. So Zerodha was able to find their pot of gold, and it could achieve so much. I'd like to conclude by saying, just a minute, guys. I'd like to conclude by saying that there are hundreds of pot of gold, if not thousands of pot of gold. Each one of us can find their pot of gold and work towards this success. It is very extraordinary to find, and it's very extraordinary that Zerodha could achieve so much in such little time. And I would like to also tell, for extraordinary success, you would require extraordinary efforts. And to achieve that, we must all believe in our true potential and trust our instincts. I'd like to tell again, thank you, all of you, for being a part of this journey with me. In these 10 days, I have learned so much, I have networked so much, and I'm absolutely have an amazing knowledge about startup. Thank you all, and I hope you all have a wonderful yet a knowledgeable session ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Simran. Stories like those not only remain etched in our hearts, but also motivates us to walk an extra mile in order to get successful.
May we now request CA Viswanath Rao to conclude the session with his closing remarks.
So I'm back, so as Salman. Where's the... No, I need the... Yeah, I'll quickly. So one round of applause to the young ladies who Uh, one round of applause. So I think they gave us a good insight into the startup world. They explained a few jargons. They also helped understand what are the benefits available. And also importantly, a couple of startups which really made a difference. They made a difference by succeeding. Now, why there was that? We quickly touch upon a few statistics. I just want to instigate a little more interest in what we all do, right? Why startups? India is the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. There are 57,000 startups which has got registered. This is between 2014 to, or live startups as on date. Then around $131 billion have been raised by these startups. So the flow of money into the Indian economy really makes a lot of infrastructural developments. So that's how it, and a combined valuation of $450 billion. There are 9,300 direct angel investors who are invested. So they are ready to take higher risks because they understand what it means to invest in startups. There are 5,068 fully funded startups. 18 Indian internet companies have been listed on stock exchanges. We heard 107, I think it's 105 to 107 unicorns right now. Just comparing with the other biggies, where we stand, 112 billion, we are around 1/10 of what US has raised funds, 1/6 of what China is there. But what is interesting to note there is the CAGR. The funding CAGR, we are growing faster than the other two nations in raising money. I talk more on this because the more the funds inflow, the better for the economy. The internet penetration at 61%, it's really great because you see the internet users, it's around 846 million users as against the 302 million in the US. So, that's what you need to penetrate into, that's what you need to make use of. Wow. I think we spoke about this. There is a consistent growth you see in number of startups, and you see it's picking up a lot of traction because a lot of young generation wants to explore, wants to do the startup, wants to explore new ideas and contribute in that. I think we spoke about this. Let me quickly, 9,300 investors. What this statistics say is people or investors are willing to take risk. They know that what startups can give back. So go ahead, go explore. If your idea is really great, if you want to, there are investors, there is money in this country to fund you and get your startup running. This is a quick one on Unicorn and Sunicorn. Sunicorn, I think they didn't touch upon, no one touched upon. Sunicorn is one which is very soon approaching to be $1 billion organization. So why these are important is, this is how they contribute back to the economy. You see around 4 lakh plus jobs created by these unicorns and around 1 lakh created by the Sunicorns. We spoke about the combined valuation, number of acquisitions. Now why this metric is important is, the more entities come together, there is scale, there is a lot of advantage when groups come together. You would have heard of a lot of mergers and acquisitions, right? So as finance professionals, we have a lot bigger role to play in all of this. Now, all of this was good, we heard everything, but not always good, right? So there are reasons for startups to fail. Only 9 out of 10, only 1 out of 10 succeeds, 9 out of 10 fail. Failure earlier, maybe a decade or two, was considered as not so good, but now failures, you learn more by failing. That's the in trend, what is followed in the startup world. And typically how an investor would look at a large investment fund, if you aspire to work for any of them, the large venture capitalists, how they look at it is, if they make 100 investments, the green ones are the success, but they look for that one unicorn. We heard on the jargons of what a unicorn is. So this is how the entire bet works, right? And the investors are generally betting like 30 to 40% of their investments will not pay them back. But those are the top reasons. So if you get to the depth of it, try to understand where you could go wrong and prepare yourselves, I think that's the way to play it. Now I'll leave you with these thoughts. Your time is limited, so don't allow others to hire you to get their dreams. That's one of Steve Jobs' quotes. But we do have many thinkers, many doers who have executed it. So it's all yours to grab this opportunity. As always been told, it's exciting times, and I wish good luck to the entire CA fraternity here in your success. And I thank the organizing committee, the Bangalore branch, and the Bangalore branch of CICASA to help me come and share these thoughts with you. Thank you very much.
Hello! It was indeed wonderful to get to know about the startup world, isn't it, Aditya?
Yes, indeed. I now request MC members here to give memento to the chairman of the session and the student speakers as a token of gratitude.
He is a rank holder chartered accountant with more than 2 decades. With more than 2 decades of corporate finance experience in IT industry by shouldering various key managerial positions in finance at MNCs like HP, Microsoft, Mphasis, and Dell Services. Thank you, sir. Wait. Now let me call upon the CICASA Secretary to extend a hearty vote of thanks, thereby concluding the first technical session of the day. So please give a huge round of applause for the session chairman and the paper presenters.
Hello guys. Hello, this is Maunesh Kumar, Secretary of CICASA Bengaluru. How is the session? I hope everyone has enjoyed the session and I can see the faces, smiling faces, everyone here. Firstly, let me thank the session chairman, CA Viswanath sir, CA Viswanath Rao sir, to give all the students a brief about the startup and to talk on the startup, and all the speakers whoever has spoke here, Miss Gunjan, Miss Simran and Miss Nidhi. And I don't know whether this technology wants to do a prank on me or not, but there were a little glitches, but still the speakers were able to surpass all the glitches and they were able to speak excellently. Congratulate to all the speakers and thanks to all the audience. Thank you.